Hey everyone, how you doing? This is Ron here. I hope everybody's having a good Sunday. Um, I'm having a pretty decent Sunday, so this is our first stream in 2 weeks because last week I was super busy and was not able to stream. But this week we're back. I'm still super busy, but you know how that goes. So that's not the right thing. Let's get rid of this thing. Okay. Um, hope y'all are doing well. Um, we're going to get into Power Wash Simulator in just a minute. But like I have been doing for the last few weeks, we're going to take a quick tour of the Unreal Engine project so you guys can take a look and see where that thing's at. Now, honestly, guys, I haven't touched it in 2 weeks. So I'm a little bit fuzzy on where we left off. So if I repeat some stuff from the time before, forgive me. I may very well. Okay, so this is where we're at. Let's go ahead and run the program. And this is where things are at. I mean, it probably doesn't look any different than it looked the last time you saw it. But I have made some fairly decent changes to it, I feel like. So let me show you what I did. So one of the things I did over the last 2 weeks was I removed the magic numbers from this code. One of the problems I was having was that every time I changed the texture size, I would have to then go back in and find that texture size that's sprinkled all through this code and change it manually. And if I forgot any one place, and I think it's in like 4 different places, it would not work. And it was, that's kind of tricky because you make a change and then you try to run it and it doesn't work, and you don't know if it's not working because of the change you made or if it's because you changed the texture. So I took all that out. You really don't want to have magic numbers in your code. Magic numbers, if you don't know, are just numbers that appear out of nowhere. They don't seem to, have any context. So in the event graph, what I did was right here, this event begin play. This fires once at the very start of the program. I took the LOS render target, grabbed its size X and size Y, and stored it into 2 variables. Okay, this is where I store those variables. And then I'm going to use those in my functions. Let's see, that should be under create. Oh, well, here I didn't actually use those variables. Well, I just grabbed it again. So there's your render target. There's that size X and size Y. And this is where we're going to calculate the max allowable draw distance on the render target material. So yeah, I put this function in to make sure we don't go over size on the material, so we don't hit the edge of the material anymore. So if you look at the target, you can see it's going to come close to the edge of that thing, but it's never going to be able to hit it. So no matter where I go on this level, we won't have that issue anymore with the cone cutting off. So you can see, so let's just cut out here. And you can see there it is. I mean, it's never going to hit the edge of that thing. That's the purpose of that. So you can see here we take the size X and size Y, and then I do a conditional. If X is greater than Y, we're going to use the X value to actually, that might be backward now that I think about it. If X is greater than Y, we're using the X value. No, that's not right. I just realized. So if X is greater than Y, it should be using the Y value to make sure the distance doesn't, otherwise it'll cut off. I've never actually used a non-square texture before, so that's why I didn't see that bug. That's wrong. I got to fix that. But anyway, we divide by 2. I subtracted another little bit, just 10 pixels, just to give it a little bit of buffer. And then I set those into your max draw distance. So the bottom line here, guys, is that no matter what I set this to, let's set it to 1024 by 1024. It'll work. So it should work just fine, I think. Although it looks like it's cutting off. Why are you doing that? Hang on, what did I do? Yeah, it is cutting off. I screwed something up. It was working. Somewhere I've messed something up. Yeah, that's because I was working on it. That's a bummer. I did all that work to get that working right, and it was working right. And now I've screwed it up somewhere. But whatever. Anyway, that's where things are at. I'll fix those couple of bugs because clearly I messed it up. That I had that system working and now it's not working. Awesome. That's embarrassing. So yeah, you should be able to change the size of that texture and it work exactly the same. You would not be able to see a difference. The only difference you would be able to see is the smaller the texture you go, the more artifacts you're going to get because of rounding point errors. So it's best to get it as big as you can just to reduce the number of issues. Like that one right there, you can see in the corner, it's kind of flickering right there. That's a texture artifact, or it's a rounding error caused by floating point numbers. So yeah. Anyway, that's where things are at. If I can, well, I'll fix those bugs. But then if the only other thing to do is, as it was last time, it's still too close. It's still very claustrophobic. I need that to be about 3 to 4 times, well, 2-3 times as far out as it is. And to do that, what I want to do is have this same cone, but represent a further distance. So I need to multiply these down and then set the distance further so that it ends up in the same place, but it actually will go further out this way. So yeah, that's the thing I was trying to do. That's where I was screwing up the thing. So yeah, that's where things are at with that. Once we get that done, once that's working, we're ready to go. We can do the mini map. I think we can move on. The vision system will be done. So yeah, there you go. I was working on it and it wasn't doing what I wanted it to do. So I tried to take it all back out again and start over. Clearly I messed something up, but I was working on it, and what it was doing is, instead of, you should be able to, so each one of these lines is a vector starting here and going to the end. You should be able to take that vector and multiply it by a scalar. In my case, I wanted to try and multiply it by 0.5, and it should give you the same vector, but in half the length. That's how multiplying a vector by a scalar works. But it wasn't working right. It was actually affecting the angle. It was actually like much smaller. And I'm not quite sure why. So it was messing it up. So I didn't have time to mess with it and try to debug it and stuff. So anyway, that's where that's at. If I can get that working and fix those couple of bugs, we are golden. So yeah, we can move on to actually making a map. Anyway, all right, let's go back into Power Wash Simulator, and we'll go into continue. So I think we were here. We just did a kind of a small one last time. I think I want to do, what do we want to do? Let's do the skate park. It seems our little town is going up in the world. Muggingham's skate park has been chosen to host the next county championships. Ordinarily, I'd leave the sullen types to roll around on their own filth, as is their wont. But if it's getting into the papers and on TV, we can't have people seeing all that grime and funny writing. So I want you to hit it with everything you've got. It'll be $900. There's our details. Hey, how come it says 700? You said 900. That's weird. I wonder why that is. And then there's a message. How do, Dirt Finder? I got a real doozy for you. When you can spare a minute for us over at the recreational grounds. When you can spare a moment. So there you go. All right, let's go and head inside. And continue. Okay. Well, this looks like a mess. Yep. Go with yellow. Where should we start? Where should we start? This is yes, this is quite the job. It looks like. I don't know. Where do we want to start? Always the hardest part. Where do you start? Okay, we got a new message. Anyone ever explained to you what kind of compound they use for structures such as these? Is there more to that? Start with this window. So yeah, we didn't have a stream last week. We also, or I also, did not record last week. So what that means for you guys is there will be no recordings or no videos this week because there were no videos made ready for last week. I did record this morning, so there will be videos next week, but this week we are taking the week off from videos. So yeah, that's the deal. I'll make an announcement too on the site, so everybody is aware if they don't come to this stream or whatever, because I know not many people see it. But I did record this morning, and it all went well. It has the distinction of being, excuse me, it has the distinction of being the final set of recordings I'm expecting to do on the old system. We're moving over to the new system. It's all ready and set up and good to go. All I got to do is move the current set of files over, current recordings. That will do probably directly after this stream. So yeah, that'll be good. I may end up not working on the Unreal Engine thing this week, just because work is being just crazy. I mean, it's usually kind of busy for my department at the end of the year, because we have clients who want their studies by the end of the year. So it's already busy for us, but there's an extra layer of busyness that, because we're trying to implement not one, but two major subsystems be used by the lab by the end of the year. They want them both up and running by the end of the year, which is crazy. I don't know. We gave some pushback to that for one of them, because we can get one of them done. No, I shouldn't say no problem, but we can do it. Trying to get two of them done, it's impossible. What they're asking for is impossible. So that's why I've been so busy, because I just have this crazy set of deadlines, and that doesn't even take into account the studies we have to get done. I mean, this would be 2 full-time jobs, getting these 2 systems up and running by the end of the year, and that doesn't include my current full-time job. So I don't know what they're thinking. We pushed back on trying to get that second one done, but I think we've said we'll try to get it done by late January. But we don't have the final say on it. We just said, look, guys, we can't do it. What you're asking for is impossible. So they got to say, okay, you can push it back to January. They should. I mean, we're not really sort of kind of not going to give them a choice. They need to feel like they're in control. So, but yeah, that's why I've been busy. It doesn't help it's the end of the year. Because everybody's going on vacation. It's, it's vacation time, which I get yelled at on a pretty regular basis about, not yelled at, but asked to use up my vacation time because I have too much on the books and they don't like that. And so they can't really complain about me taking, I'm taking 3 weeks off between now and the end of the year. Should get my vacation numbers down to a reasonable level. They don't like it when it gets too high for whatever reason. Some sort of bookkeeping thing, I don't really understand it. It's not my thing. Oops, I didn't mean to do that. Okay. Hey, this railing is done. No, railing's not done. Let's get it done. How did I get done? It looked like it changed. I guess maybe it did. Okay, yeah. Just the angle. There you go. The other thing is, the other reason I may not get to the Unreal Engine project this week is that I'm setting up the new system for recording next week. So, the era, in theory, the era of the 1080p videos is coming to an end, and they'll be 4K. At least that's the plan. Starting for you guys in 2 weeks, or I think. I just recorded the final ones, like I said, this morning. So those will go up for next week. And then the next ones I will record next weekend will be 4K. And the reason I set it up for next weekend is because that's the weekend of... That weekend will be the first 2 days of my vacation time. Because that next week is Thanksgiving week. So... in case there's anything I need to tweak or work on, or if something's not working, I can work on it. No big deal. That way I have plenty of time. And I am not going to look at work at all. I'm not even going to open my bloody laptop. I'm saying I'm on vacation. Y'all can just get along without me. Sometimes I do that when I'm on vacation, and it's probably not good. Probably should look at it. Vacation time is meant to be vacation time, right? Get spray painted all over this wall. That's not appropriate. Let's get rid of that. There's a faster way to do this. Hang on, let me see if the soap will work. Oh yeah, the soap works fine. Nice. Okay, do it that way. Get the grime off so I can see what I'm working with here, but... So do you guys want to talk about the games? I guess we could talk about the games that I recorded this morning. If you guys want to listen to me ramble on about those. Some interesting developments. this morning, or yesterday morning and this morning. That happened that you guys will see in 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks or a week and a half, or whatever it is. So God of War, I continued on with the story mode. So, and the story mode happened to be areas where there's no collectibles or anything. We went to a couple of different areas. By areas, I mean realms. And these were non-collectible realms. So, in terms of main story, we advanced, but in terms of collectibles, we did not. That's fine. Cat print around there. But it went fine. Actually, I quite enjoy playing Atreus. He's fun to, his combat is fun. So, it's almost more fun than Kratos. Which is odd to say, right? I mean, I don't know. It's interesting that they it's pretty good. It's interesting that they give you different characters to play. Why are you not working there, buddy? Extra heavy duty paint on that one. This is a different wall. How come this wall's not done? Is it at the top? It's probably at the top. One moment, please. Yep. See if I can get up on top of this. And most sort of, kind of, but not really. Okay, why do you use the inventory? What button am I hitting that the inventory is coming up? E button. Okay, alright. I didn't know that was a thing. Right, I can't get over there. How's the with that? Hey, what's up with this? None of that. Less of it. That's a bummer, I can't get on there. There you go. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have anything to say about God of War. It went fine. Really not much else to talk about. It went well. No major deaths. I do. It's eating at me that I never did Gravel Belly, which is an optional boss. Which I think you guys should have seen by now, right? I think so. Or is that Monday? No, we're not releasing videos this week. It must have been last week then. Yeah, you guys must have seen it last week. This is annoying. Hang on. Yeah, I don't like that that wasn't done. I should have been able to do it. I really should have. It's annoying that I let it go by. I understand why I did, because I had just finished like 3 other bosses, and I just wasn't up to doing another one, especially a tricky one. He's not going to be easy by any stretch of the imagination. But he should be very doable. So it annoys me that I didn't do him. I really should have. But I'm trying not to let it bother me too much. I will get back to Alfheim anyway, because we're only 90% done with Alfheim. Something like that. So it's not like we're not going back there. We will go back there when we have more equipment that we need to unlock the rest of the collectibles. I don't think there's any story reason to go back there, but we do have to go back for collectibles. Put this over here somewhere, just get out of my way. Okay, there you go. So yeah, I mean that game's going fine. I think we're still a little less than. I think we're over 1/3 of the way through it, but we're a little less than half. Not quite halfway through that game. I'm in no rush. I'm enjoying it quite a bit. We do have a lot of optional bosses left, and I'm wondering why that is, because we've gone through half of the story bosses now. But yet we've only gone through maybe a quarter at best of the optional bosses, and it's not like I've been skipping optional stuff. I've been going through it. Gravel Belly is one of them, for sure. But there are more, and I'm wondering when they're going to appear, because, like I say, we are like coming up on halfway through the story. So, a little bit odd that we have so many optional bosses left. Okay, that looks pretty good. Ta-da! So, the Saboteur. Yeah, the Saboteur this week. Oh my god. Sometimes that game stresses me out. So, I think I said a couple of weeks ago I would not be surprised if they chained missions together. Well, guess what they did? They chained not 1, but 2 missions together. So there were 3 missions in a row, and you couldn't do one without the other. I mean, once you started one, it was all the way through 3 missions. So I completed 3 main missions. I'll just say no sabotaging. There was one little thing that I got, but that was just because I was right there during one of the story missions. So yeah, we did 3 missions this week, which really throws a monkey wrench into my plans for getting the sabotaging done. That is not part of the the plan. And the thing is, that's the end of the end of Act 2 and into Act 3. Act 3 only has like 3 missions in it. And we did one of them yesterday morning. So, yeah. Looking good. So that's a problem in that now I'm all thrown off from my plan of, you know, how many sabotages I need to get done per week to get it finished. I was down to close to 20 per week, and which is easily doable, even with a mission in there. But now it's going to be all off and stuff. I don't know where it's going to be with it. But here's another issue. That's kind of the minor issue. We can fix that. I can do a week of pure sabotage. It's fine. That's fixable. Which is probably what I will do. I probably will next week do all sabotage. I think. But here's the problem. Because of what happened in the missions, one of our side mission guys, Dr. Kwong, which I have been putting off for weeks now, disappeared. The place where he was is now gone, and so he's not there anymore, which is very concerning to me, because he's like responsible for like 3 side missions, like the last 3 side missions we have, basically. I think there's one other side mission. And he disappeared. And I'm hoping he's going to come back somewhere. Now, I kind of hunted online for this kind of problem, and no one else mentions it. So I assume he's coming back. Like, he'll be in a different spot. Everybody says he does go to a different spot. But here's the thing. This is the reason why it concerns me. So everyone says, don't do his missions until after you do a particular mission. Well, that particular mission was the first one we did. But there was no stopping point. We did that one and 2 extra missions, and then he disappeared after that 3rd mission. But there's no way to do the first one without doing the 2 and 3. So I don't really understand. Keep hitting that button. I'm having a hard time understanding why this is not working. Why is it not working all of a sudden? No hearts. Why people would say that if he suddenly disappears. So I'm assuming he's coming back, but it's worrisome that he disappeared off the map. I even like closed down the game and restarted just to make sure, because sometimes that does happen. The missions disappear off the map until you restart the game. But he didn't reappear. So, but the thing is, I was planning on doing his missions next. You know, this is the next thing I'm gonna do. And if he doesn't show back up again, it's a bit of a problem. Because I'm not really planning on doing any main missions for a while. There's only like 2 left, I think. And then we're done with the game. And so I need to get sabotaging done and the rest of the side missions done. So he needs to show back up, and he needs to do it sooner rather than later. If he doesn't show back up and that's a bug, I'm going to be irritated that A, he disappeared. But I could have been... I don't really understand why I couldn't do his missions earlier. I'm not quite sure I get that. If I had gone through all 3 of his sides... maybe not. Maybe that's not a thing. I'm not really sure. Maybe you couldn't do all of his missions at once? Because there's the reason they say not to do his missions is because there's a bug in the game that where he appears like conflicts with that one mission, that first one that we did, which was called the needs of the few or the one or something like that. If you do that, if you do his missions before you do that thing, then he gets in the middle of like this huge firefight. That's where he stands, and if he dies, then you fail the mission, even though he's not part of that mission, that main mission. So everyone says don't do his missions until after you've done needs of the few. So that's what I did. No one said anything about him disappearing. So if he doesn't come back, I'm going to be annoyed at people for not telling me that. But I'm assuming he'll come back. If he doesn't, I'm going to have to figure something out. How to do his stuff. But for the moment, I'll assume that he can be done. The other side mission that's left is one more racing mission, and that did appear on the map after we did those three missions today. So I might do that next week. I might do the race and then do sabotage, and then we'll do a pure sabotage next time. And the reason I might do that is so to see if that triggers Dr. Kwong coming back. That may do. That may do. So I might do it that way. Well, we'll see. Not quite decided yet. All right, guys. There's actually nobody online, so I'm going to take this opportunity for just a second and take a quick break. So I will be back in just a minute. Okay, guys, I'm back. Sorry about that. Okay. let's see, where was I? Let's close this. Close debit. Too much coffee this morning. That's like oh yes. So yeah, I don't know what's going on with the Saboteur. It's a little concerning, but I'll try not to worry about it too much. It's probably fine. I'm sure that guy will come back, because no one, if it was truly a bug and he just disappeared after you did a certain mission, no one would say, do that mission, because they're linked together. You can't not do missions 2 and 3 without once you start that first mission. So yeah. So if he truly disappeared for the rest of the game after doing those missions I did this morning, I think I would know about it, because people would say. Right, so I'm not too terribly stressed about it. At least I'm trying not to be too terribly stressed about it. Hey Tag, how you doing? I saw the second video you posted yesterday. I watched it with the Assassin's Creed. That's such a retro game. I love it. I mean, I guess it's, yeah, it's a handheld game, I suppose. So. So yeah, it's going all right. Not bad. Walking to work at the moment. So you got me for the next 20 minutes. Oh, okay. I have to get in everything in the next 20 minutes. All the important stuff. Are you walking to work with your phone in your hand? Yeah, it's very retro. Fun. Definitely shows its age in places. Yeah. I mean, it is what it is. Let's see. That's not really helpful. Where's that stool? This here. There we go. On top of this. Yeah. So yeah, I talked about God of War, and I talked about the Saboteur. What's next on our list? Oh, Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball was another one yesterday morning that didn't quite go to plan. The idea with Dragon Ball, since I'm in Intermission 3 now, is to do 2 side quests per episode. And I think there are 7 side quests in this particular intermission before we can move on. So I did 2 not last week, but the last episode or last recording. That was fine. And so I wanted to do 2 this week as well, and I did 1, but then the second one I couldn't do because all the side quests were locked. All the side quests that I unlocked anyway were locked to Vegeta, which I don't have access to right now. I'm playing as Gohan. And it won't let me change it. So clearly at some point, what is going on here? It's like this little cubby down here. What is this all about? Clearly at some point I'm going to switch over during this intermission to Vegeta. But I don't know where that point is, and I don't want to advance the intermission story to where it goes into the next saga. I can't remember what it's called, the Buu Saga or something. So I have to be careful. And in fact, I'm going to look it up. I'm going to look up how you switch over to Vegeta, or at what point you get over to Vegeta in the intermission, because that's just playing with fire. I don't want to miss those sub-stories. There's still 4 more to do. And I think at least 3 of them involve resurrecting characters, resurrecting enemies so that you can refight them. One of them I could do with Gohan. The other 2 I can only do with Vegeta. And so I resurrected them. That was fine, but they won't respond to Gohan. So clearly there's something else going on there. Somehow I have to get a hold of Vegeta. It's probably just a matter of advancing the intermission to a certain point. I'm sure it's probably fine if I just kept going. It'd be fine. But I don't want to take any chances, because once you get past the intermission, you can't go back to the stories. At least it's from what I understand. Bing, there we go. Fun box. The hell's a fun box? That sounds vaguely, what's the word I'm looking for? Inappropriate. Why are you not done? Stool's in my way. Alright, what's happening? Why is this not done? How dare you not be done? Yeah, I mean, as usual, I don't really have much to say about Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball is Dragon Ball. You just go through the story. It's fine. I got a new trophy this week, which was the Shenru thing. Summoning Shenru 10 times from the menu part, which I did. Why is this rail not finished? What's going on with this rail? I don't understand. What is happening here? Underneath. Well, I can't get underneath, ya fool. There we go. So yeah, there's not many more trophies left in that game. What am I stuck on? And the ones that are left are pretty much going to get automatically for the most part. Should get just naturally through playing the game, I think. There shouldn't really be any grinding, which is odd for anime game. Those anime games are just, they're all about the grinding. I'm still stuck on stuff. Stop being stuck on stuff. But, yeah. Yeah. The intermission's going fine, other than the fact that I can't do the sub-stories, which annoys me. But, I did some villainous enemies. Got a couple of those, or at least one, that taken care of. There's not a huge number of those, so I'm not too terribly concerned about it. That's one that we do have to do, though. Because there's a trophy associated with doing all the villainous enemies. At least one, if not two trophies. So I will be working on those. I'm not really doing them till I'm 4 or 5 levels above, which is kind of cheaty, to be honest, but they're just annoying. I was, I think, yeah, it was the villainous, I think it was the villainous enemies that I was taking on, or training or something. And they were significantly below my level, so like they were doing 1 point damage. They weren't doing any damage, but there were so many of them, and they were attacking so often that I couldn't get a word in edgewise. Like it was a constant being hit. It was hard to like counterattack because you're just being, you know, you need a certain amount of time to let off an attack, even a punch. I mean, I eventually got through it, but my goodness. Can you imagine doing that if you were like at level and you had to take them on at the level that if you were the same level as them? They'd have kicked my butt. Because there's just no way to, like I said, there's no way to get a word in edgewise to hit them. But it's fine. I did a lot of Dragon Ball collecting because, like I said, I had to resurrect several characters. Although now the Dragon Balls, once you get all 7, now that we've gotten past story 2, was it 3? Story 3? Yeah, story 3, I guess. Now you get 2 wishes per like summon instead of just 1. So I can resurrect 2 characters at a time. But that made it not too bad. You guys got any plans for Thanksgiving? Yes and no. We have always hosted Thanksgiving here, for a few people, which is a tradition that I've continued. I continued last year, and I'll do it again this year. We got people coming over, but we don't do it on Thanksgiving Day. It's just, it doesn't work out because people have to travel and stuff. It's not a really great time for people to come here, which I totally get. I would feel the same way. So on actual Thanksgiving, we're not probably doing very much. I'm probably just going to make I'll make dinner for the kids, but it won't be huge. It'll be Thanksgiving themed, but it won't. It'll just probably be a turkey breast and maybe some stuffing and, you know, the usual sort of stuff, but it won't be huge. But when all my people come, which is going to be is it the next week? I think it's December 6th or whatever it is. So I think it's the next weekend. Then we'll have a full on. I just got my turkey. It's huge. I'm going to have to figure out how soon to start defrosting that. Not yet. I mean, December 6th is still, what, 3 weeks away? 2 weeks away. But it's going to be it'll probably take about 3 or 4 days for that turkey to defrost because it's huge. But that's when we'll have all the big dinner. So it'll be somewhat delayed. Now I will have people here that weekend staying, and so probably what I will do, if I can figure out how to do it, is I'll probably record early so I'm not on the computer all weekend while people are here. I gotta figure out when I'm gonna do that, but I do have a week off, like I said, that Thanksgiving week off, so I might try to catch up a little, or an extra set, do an extra set of videos so that I'm ready. We'll see how it goes. I don't want to take another week off because I just took a week off. But if I hadn't just taken a week off, I might consider just saying, forget it, we're going to take the week off. But I don't want to do that. It just is nonstop. It's just nonstop for me for whatever reason. Things just won't stop being completely packed full, busy. Which usually I like, but this is a little excessive. But yeah, I like staying busy. Look at that. Nice. I would ask what you're doing for Thanksgiving, but I know you guys don't do Thanksgiving over there. So. It would be kind of weird if you did. It's an American thing. I guess it wouldn't be weird. I mean, you could. There's nothing saying you can't. But I'm sure you probably don't. It probably wouldn't be that easy to get all the food, the traditional foods. But of course, there's nothing saying you have to get the traditional foods either. We do. We get all the usual stuff. I make a corn casserole and stuffing and cranberries. Actually, my mom brings the cranberries. Brings fresh cranberries. We do the desserts. All the stuff, the mashed potatoes. It's good times. Break out some wine. It'll be nice. Yeah, it'll be busy. Knowing my luck, if I celebrated Thanksgiving, I'd be working anyway. Yeah. That's true. Here in the States, it's... So the businesses that work during the holidays, they generally don't work on Christmas. But if there's a second holiday that they don't work on, it'll be Thanksgiving. It's a major one here. Some businesses, of course, will work every single day except for Christmas. And there's a few that'll work every single day. Like Starbucks and not the coffee shops. I hope those... I think the baristas get, you know, double overtime or whatever for working that day. I think they better. That would be... I would just refuse to work. Say, nope. But... Oh, I didn't really do that. But yeah, we have it off. We have off Thanksgiving. The day after Thanksgiving as a holiday. And then I took the other 3 days off as vacation days. So I would have some time that week not this week, but next week. Try and get a little bit ahead. That's the idea. And also, like I said, that's the week that I'm going to be troubleshooting any 4K video issues if necessary. Because that'll be, next weekend will be the first weekend of the 4K videos. Thankfully, we at least get Christmas off, and we get time and a half for Boxing Day and New Year's Day if we work those. Ah, okay, cool. So you get overtime. That's good. I don't get overtime. I'm salaried. So in the United States, there's no. If you're salaried, you're just expected to work whatever hours. No real set hours. And sometimes that means I can work a little bit less. Normally it means I have to work more than the usual, and I don't get paid for it. They've actually started cracking down on that here in the States, or at least in California anyway. I don't know if it's in all the states, because businesses were taking advantage of it. They would just make everybody salaried and say, "Oh yeah, by the way, you're working 60 hours a week, and we don't have to pay you any extra for that." That started to get to be an issue. So now you have to be making at least a certain minimum salary to be salaried anymore, which I do. I don't mind being salaried. I wouldn't want to work hourly. I prefer to be able to set my own hours. But I can understand why they're cracking down on it, because businesses were abusing it. It was being abused. So, how are we doing here? I always have trouble. Oh wow, it's been an hour. Okay. Just making sure we're not going. I didn't think we were too long. It's nowhere near, but I'd like to see where we are. Let's talk about Immortals Phoenix Rising. How that went today. I will say it went pretty well. I didn't get stuck on anything major this week like I did last week. I didn't do any vaults though. There just didn't happen to be any in my path as I was doing today, which is a little bit of a bummer because vaults are the only place where you get lightning bolts. Lightning bolts is how you increase your stamina. So no advancement on stamina this week, but I did do a bunch of stuff. Like a bunch of like little puzzly sort of things. One of the puzzles I did was a traversal puzzle that I had trouble with last time. I got it done this week, so that was good. Like I've said with that game before, you don't want to get into a situation where you skip all the hard stuff because you can't get it done, and then you have to do it all at the end, and you got 10 million super hard vaults to get done right at the end that you couldn't figure out the first time. You don't want that to happen. So I got one of those traversals done that I couldn't do last time, so that was a plus. We have cleared out a great deal of the Valley of Eternal Springs. I'd say we're a good 75% of the way done with that. So yeah, 75%, man, maybe, I don't know, maybe 2/3. We've cleared out quite a lot. Let's just put it that way. But I do still have some vaults to get done. Certain things, so. But yeah, I did some puzzles. Got a lot of chests. Got some equipment. Got a new skin for Phospho. So it's all good. Got some new skills that I'm excited to try out next time. I do want to take out that legendary Minotaur at some point pretty soon. He's kind of hanging out by himself. There's nothing else around him because I've cleared everything else out. He's just kind of sitting there because I'm like, ugh, Minotaurs are hard enough. A legendary Minotaur? I don't know. At work now, mate's safe. Mate's good. Good luck with the rest of the stream. Thanks, man. Yeah, have a good day at work. Have fun. I will see you next time. So yeah, Phoenix went fine. I think we got some nice advancement on that one. I think picked up a bunch of, not a bunch, but we picked up some new weaponry and several new skins for the weapons that I already have. So pretty good, pretty good. I think we made some nice progress. I didn't do any missions today. I wanted just to clear some stuff out. I don't know when the next time I'll do a mission. I'm not really sure. We'll see. I would like to get missions kind of worked on. At some point. I don't know if I'll do them next week or not. We'll see. Maybe we'll do one next week. I think there's a couple of side missions that are available. We might take on one or two of those. But I do like clearing out areas. So to me, that's interesting when you're clearing out the puzzles and stuff. So I'm going to have to go back to those vaults and figure out how to get those chests. There's a couple of vaults that we were not able to get the chests for. And at some point I have to go back to them and figure it out. And I have no insights on that beyond what we did last time. Like, I haven't figured out anything new, and I probably, I won't. What are you going to figure out that's new without actually being in the vault? So it could be a situation where I go into a vault and have no luck again, because I didn't have any luck the first time, so what makes it any different the second time, right? I don't know. We'll see. But, yeah. It went well. Stairs. Let's do the stairs. I like that game. I mean, it's, it's an Ubisoft game, so, you kind of know what to expect. There's going to be a lot of little puzzly things all over the map. There's going to be an online store. I ignore all that. I don't do live service games, right? Or if I do, like this one is, sort of, I guess. I ignore those aspects of it. Because other than that, all that stuff, it's a good game. I like it. Puzzles are interesting, but not so taxing that, they hurt your brain. So, I can figure out how to do them 9 times out of 10. Often I find the hardest part of those puzzles, not necessarily solving the puzzle, but figuring out what you're supposed to be interacting with. The stairs are still significantly dirty. That's because this is part of them. Look at that. Sorry, just I'm not. My brain was thinking in my head. I mean, how the heck do you make a slope out of concrete? I don't know. I'm sure they know how to do it. This rail. These rails that won't clean. There we go. And these stairs are done. Looks good. Nice. Okay. So that just leaves the Lego game that we did this morning, which went fine. So I did a mission, which ended up being an assault mission. So I think I said last time that we were doing this that the only difference between the assault missions in mission that are part of missions and assault missions that are part of just kind of the assault mission structure is this: the latter have time limits, the former don't, and that's really the only difference. So in the former, when they're part of story, you can take your time and look around and do whatever you want, no big deal. In the latter, you can't do that. And I had some trouble. Well, so in the story one, I was getting the canisters, and I got all but one. I got 9 canisters, no problem. But the 10th one, I couldn't figure out. We had the arrow, but it wasn't pointing at anything, right? So you have the arrow on the screen. I was using to see where they were. So I'd go to where the arrow was pointing, but it was just pointing at the ground. There was nothing there. What the hell is that? Well, it turns out that I had locked myself out of that one because to get it, you had to destroy 3 of a particular kind of vehicle. And I had already destroyed the building that made that vehicle, so there were none on the board, and I killed none of them. And that's the kind of thing you got to be careful of, because there was also the same thing, although I got this one, there was another one of those things where you had to kill a certain number of enemy droids within a certain time period. And if you've destroyed, you can lock yourself out of that one too by destroying all the droid production buildings, right? Unfortunately, I didn't do that. I got that one fine. But the second one, where you had to destroy the 3 vehicles, I had already locked myself out before I knew what it was. So I had to go back in and get that last one for the second playthrough of it, which I did. But yeah, that's the only bad thing about those is you can lock yourself out of some certain things if you don't do them in the right order. And you got to restart it. Which is doable. It's fine, but I don't know. It's a little bit on the annoying side. Like, levels are not like that, or levels, but the regular levels where you're just walking around, the regular stuff, they don't do that. I don't think you generally lock yourself out of anything in those. I don't think. Could be wrong. Ding. Yay. But yeah, it went fine. So that went fine. Other than having to re-go back in and do the 10th canister, the 10th collectible. The assault mission was fine. It took me 2 tries because the first time I did it, I took in my usual thing. I took in a speeder tank, the pirate speeder tank, which is my favorite vehicle for assault missions in general. But it turned out there was a whole lot of gold stuff right at the beginning, which the speeder pirate tank can't do. So I restarted it and took in the spider droid instead, which can deal with the gold buildings. I do have the super speeder ability. But in general, I'm trying not to use it because that's kind of cheaty, to be honest. It really kind of takes the interesting out of it. Makes the levels much less enjoyable or interesting because, you know, the super speeder can destroy gold buildings, silver buildings, anything really. So there's no reason to use any other vehicle if you're going to do that. But unless I get into real trouble, I don't want to use those. Not unless it's something that ends up being just a nightmare. Otherwise, so far I haven't run into that. But yeah, I went into that, and then I did the bounty hunter, and that was fine. Took a few attempts to. I knew where the guy was. I just couldn't get to him. And we only had 1 minute to do this one. That was Commander. I think it was Commander Rex that we did today. So yeah. That all went fine. And then I did, I finished off all the red bricks. We have all the red bricks in the game. So I have all the bonuses. My stack multiplier is something like 4,000, I think. Just under 4,000. So what that basically means is the purple ones, which are usually worth 10,000 studs each, the purple studs, are now worth something close to 4 million a piece. And now there's not that many purple studs. There's a few around, but there's not that many. But the blue ones, which are much more common, are worth 400,000 a piece. So, you know, and you know, there's not huge numbers of blue ones around, but they're around. And then, of course, you got the silver and the gold ones. The gold ones are worth 40,000 a piece, close to it, not quite. And the other ones are worth 4,000 a piece. The silver ones are worth 4,000 a piece. So you can tell that, you know, we're just swimming in money now. It's all over as far as money is concerned. So I bought a few ships. I didn't buy every single ship, but I bought a few just to work on it. I don't want to get like all the ships quite yet, but I got a few. I didn't really see any new characters to buy. I'm not sure. So a lot of the characters are locked to the collectibles, right? The 10 canisters, which is in that one room in the main ship, the Dauntless. Is that what it's called? I don't know if that's all we have left, because I did not see any other characters for purchase. Doesn't mean they don't exist, it just means I didn't see them. But there's one hiding. That's the only bad thing about, I'm not gonna say the only bad thing, but it's one thing about the Lego game structure that they've got going right here, is that you gotta find the characters to buy, and it's not at all obvious which characters are already bought and wandering around and which ones aren't. You gotta like walk up to them individually. So they're spread out through all the ship, of course. Spread out to 2 ships, in fact. Right, so how are we doing? 25%. We have 1 star. This is going to be a long one, I can see. We're only a quarter of the way through it. This is one that's going to take us multiple episodes to get through. Okay, looks looking pretty good. That's not looking very good. That looks like crap. This looks good. Okay, another rail. Yay. That's done. Oh yeah, I mean Lego went fine. I think we're just barely shy of 80% of the way through it. It was 79.7% or something like that. Why does that wall still say it's so dirty? Is this part of the same wall? Oh yeah, that's part of the same wall. That's not part of the same wall. What are you talking about? It's a different wall. So basically, as soon as I finish this stream, really, think. I mean, I got to edit Saboteur today, so I'll probably not as soon as I finish the stream. So that's a lie. But probably some point today, I'm going to start taking this computer down, start replacing it with a new one. I'm not totally going to take it down. I'm going to leave it up in a running state until I know all the recordings are good. I gotta move all the files over, and if anything corrupts as it's being moved, which is possible, then I want to have my this computer still up and running so I can access that data, redo it or whatever if necessary. But as soon as all these files are edited, posted, this computer's coming down. That's fun. We get started on getting the other one set up, working and testing it for working with the 4K videos. Why is this railing not done? Where's that stool? That was the dog, if you guys didn't realize. This railing's still not done. What is going on? What the devil? How did I not hit that? No, it's not coming off. Oh yeah? Oh yeah? This is mean that they put stuff like that on you can't see. Come off of there. Man, what's all on this? This railing's being a particularly painful one. What are we doing? We're almost there. There we go. Yeah, that should be fun. I'm going to do a better job this time around of trying to bundle the wires and make the wires look nice. I tried to do that with this computer when I built it, whatever it was, several years ago. And I started, but over time it has all come apart, and I've changed things around and moved stuff so that now it's wire spaghetti down there. So I will bundle all of the wiring and make it nice and neat. But it's not the highest priority. I do want to eventually get it so it's all tucked away and nice. There's a lot of wiring down there between the computer and the console systems and all the recording stuff. Quite a bit. What seems to make it the wiring the most messy is the sound. Speakers and getting sound from one thing to another. Like a lot of the other stuff is like kind of internal and self-contained, right? Unless it's like a power line or a data line, but sound gets to be a mess. It's always the case. Dumb sound. Okay, what's up with this quarter pipe? This is the same thing. Okay. All right. This side is all messed up. Indeed. Top of you. Oh, this is upper floor. It's done. Ramp. Oh. Is that? That was quarter pipe. There you go. So yeah, that should be interesting. Getting the files over. I'm curious to see how much difference there is in playing, because on the one hand, we're recording, or at least theoretically, this is all still theoretical. We're recording at 4 times the resolution. On the other hand, it's a much faster computer. So, which one's going to win out? Is it going to be faster or is it going to be slower? I guess we'll find out. How are we getting up there? Okay, there's a ladder placement here. I guess we can just walk on top of it. I guess so. Nice. That's helpful. So yeah, this stream has the honor of being the final thing I'm not even really recording, are we? We're just streaming. But it's the final thing we're doing on this computer. It's in theory. Of course, it could all come crashing down if I don't get the other one working. We shall see. But I have time to get it working. Hopefully we get everything. I'm just assuming we can do 4K. I hope so. Unless it takes like 4 hours to load into the editing software or something like that, which I can't do. Can't, yeah, there's no way I could do that. But if it's only, you know, if it's the same speed as the current set of files, then it's fine. I don't even mind if it's a little slower, but it can't be super slow. I can't spend 8 hours per video editing process. Right now I spend maybe two hours per video, roughly, all, you know, start to finish, editing, not counting the recording part. And that works out fine. It's fine. Hopefully it doesn't get any longer than that. Let's see. Okay, that's done. Less effective as we get up there. Hang on. We'll come to you, my friend. Alrighty. I feel like thinking about upcoming games that we're going to be playing, I feel like there's at least 4 games that I know. I'm pretty sure are going to be the games that we play next, when replacing the games that we have. And there's one game that I keep changing. Like, I don't know. We'll see what it ends up being. One that I'm not sure about because there's so many games on my list that I want to do. It's just a question of which one I want to do first. Like, all those games that I want to put on that spot are games I want to play. It's just a question of which one goes there before the others. We shall see. But yeah, there's like 4 I'm almost positive I know what they're going to be. If I was 100% positive, I would tell you what they were, but I'm not. You never know. But yeah, I keep waffling back and forth on that 5th game. Which is... Is that the one that's replacing? I'm not quite sure. I know it's placing the next Lego game. That's another Lego game. We know that. I know which one is replacing the Saboteur. I know which one's replacing God of War. What does that leave? Dragon Ball. Well, yeah, I don't think I know what's replacing Dragon Ball. That might be the one that's iffy. Not that anything's in danger of finishing anytime soon. I think we're looking at probably into next year before, like January next year, before games start finishing up. Excuse me, sorry guys. Let me get some coffee. I don't know. God, sorry. Got caught in my throat. I don't know what the deal is going to be with this game, actually. Whether we're going to do this one, or we're going to stream in 4K. That's probably a pretty good question. I'm inclined not to. I don't know if my internet connection could handle that. It's one thing to upload in 4K, because, you know, you just set it to upload and let it go. But to actually stream in 4K, that's a whole nother story. I don't know about that. Okay, we're going to have to get up under here. So how are we going to do this? That's totally ineffective. Okay, that's silly. Let's do it this way. Yeah, I don't know if we can stream in 4K. We'll have to see. Don't think so. But I don't know. Probably my ISP would have a fit if I did that. They're already going to have a fit because I'm uploading in 4K, so I'm going to be using more data than I have been. I have unlimited data, but they get pissy if you use too much. So they're all like, we said unlimited data, but what we meant was within reason. I don't like it when you use too much. But we'll see how they get along with the 4K. I mean, they don't care. I pay them a lot of money, so, you know. If they're going to provide the service that I pay them for, I will find somebody who will. That's how that's going to work. But man, the top of this arch is tricky. Yeah. I can probably get up on the ladder now. I think I'm... Yeah, should be able to get up on the ladder. Okay. This ladder's starting to get in the way. Can I move this? Kinda, sorta. Move to the other side. This is tricky because it's right. It is kind of right in the way in these spots. Get it enough so that it accepts it. Other side again. There we go. Nice. Nice, nice. I would like to, let's see, what time is it now? It's 9:30 here. Is that right? Yeah, 9:30. I would like to watch football today. I didn't get to watch the game last week. Stupid work. And we ended up losing anyway, so I didn't actually bother to watch the game. By the time I mean, I could have watched it back, right? I didn't record it or anything, but I could have gone to like the website. Not really watched live feed of the game, but watched the play, watch what happened in each play. You can do that, but when I saw the score, I was like, oh, I don't want to watch that. So, we'll see. I would like to watch it. I'll probably record it so that I can speed through it tonight, because I got a lot to do today. I would like to get that edit done and start getting the computers dealt with, so a lot on my plate. But I would like to watch. Quarterback stubbed his toe on like week 1 of the season and been out ever since almost. He played in 1 game since then. I decided to go out for another 3 weeks. I like our quarterback. I do, but he is prone to injury. He's been out most of this season. As have many of our players. We've had some serious injuries this year. And yet still we have a pretty decent record, even with our backup players. I mean, it's not a bad record for having lost our quarterback, we lost a tight end or 2, we lost some defensive players. And it's just been a rough season, injury-wise. Skate park floor. Look at this floor is. So yeah. I will try and such a lot of stuff on my plate right now. I don't really understand where all this is coming from. Stupid work. I don't have time for work. I know I have other stuff to do. I will try and work on the Unreal Engine thing. I would really like to get it to a point where we can start working on the map itself. The vision system is fine. I mean, that's a necessary first step. But it's really not what I was interested in. Not the reason I started the project. I wanted to do the map thing. Get that working. That was the whole point. I gotta fix those. I gotta fix those bugs, and then get the scaling right on the render target. Okay. This wall. Yeah, I gotta figure out what I was doing wrong with the scaling of that vector. I don't really understand why that wasn't working, because it was messing with the angle at which vector was pointing, and it's not supposed to do that. When you multiply a vector and a scalar together, a vector, if you don't know what a vector is, it's a line segment, basically. It's got a direction and a length, right? So it's just basically, it starts at point A and it goes to point B, and so you got a direction and a certain distance. A scalar is just a number, right? So when you multiply those together, scalar is only supposed to affect the length of that line. It's not supposed to affect the direction at all. For whatever reason, and I'm not sure I understand why, it was affecting the direction because it was causing everything to compress inward. So the things that were supposed to be out to the left were coming in towards the center, and same thing for the things on the right. So it was causing the view cone to be very, very small. Not, of course, what you want. So I was doing something wrong. I was multiplying it in the wrong place, but I just don't understand. Not like it's that difficult. It's once you get your final result, then that's what you should multiply by, right? Once you have the final result just before you render it to the target, take that vector, which is what it's doing. I don't know. I guess it's the... I don't know. I couldn't really figure out what I was doing wrong. I didn't spend a lot of time with it, though, to be honest. I'm sure it was something stupid that I was doing, but... I would like to get that done. And get that working. Then we get to the interesting bit to me, which is the actual creation of a mini-map and putting a fog of war on top of it. What did I do with the ladder? Oh, there it is. It's actually not in a bad spot. That's where I think it's going to be interesting. That's the bit I'm actually looking forward to. I have to find a level to do. The level we're using right now would not work for that purpose. I need something with a reasonable complexity. Which, I don't know if I have anything. I may have, but I don't know. May not. Bing. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. You know, years ago I was working. Years ago, what years ago? I guess must have been years ago. I was kind of working on a level. I think I told you guys already, and I don't know if I still have it. I don't feel like I would have erased it, but on the other hand, I would have no idea where to look for it either. It must be on my computer somewhere. Could use that, I suppose, but I can find it. There are plenty of like free levels out there, all of which are going to be better than anything I could do. I mean, nothing that I would use in an actual game or anything, right? But they're good for the purposes of prototyping. So that's what I would be using it for. I guess Unreal Engine 5.7 just came out. Not that I've looked at it, but supposedly there's some good improvements in there from what I understand. How dare you? It's always problematic to convert mid-project to a new engine version. You usually don't want to do that, generally speaking. Unless you're early on in development. This is not coming out. What the hell? Unacceptable. The extra. Really? You're gonna make me do this manually? Oh man. The extra. Tough paint to get off. Oh. There you go. That comes off when you do that. Okay. Gotta work on this floor. The upper floor is barely even started. So yeah, clearly I need to work on that. I hope to get to it. I don't want to go another week without looking at it, because I'll forget what I was doing. I've already forgotten what I was doing like 2 weeks ago. If you start going that long without looking at something, there's a good chance you're not going to be able to figure out what you're doing. I don't know. We'll see. I might have to start. I don't know. The code's getting to be reasonably complex. It's not simple. I probably need to clean up stuff so it's, it's readable. Label everything. That's what I was kind of doing last time. Suberry, hey there, I've got one heck of a filthy sidecar. If you can fit us in, I can run it up to you if that helps. I'm getting all kinds of projects now, aren't I? If there's one thing I know about concrete, it's that it likes to be as flat as possible. Sure. I have to pour some concrete in my backyard. And I was hoping to do it before it started raining, but it has now started raining. So that didn't happen. And I hate that because the back of my backyard is just a mess right now. It is a nasty ass mess. It's not good. I don't like my yard's looking like that. My front yard looks nice, but the front yard years ago. Because that's the one everybody can see. Backyard, really just dirt. Except for the patch of grass that I put in. The sidewalk that we had put in a few years ago. The rest of it is a mess. I don't like it. The more of that dirt we get cemented over, the better I like it. Oh yeah. So anyway, what was I saying about the the Unreal Engine? Yeah, 5.7 just came out. I think it was 5.7. I think that's right. I have not looked at it at all. But I'm given to understand. Somebody said it was a big deal. It must be because they moved from 5.5 to 5.7. I don't think there was a 5.6. And usually when that happens, it's for some reason or other. Some major changes have occurred. At least I don't think there's a 5.6. I don't remember there being a 5.6. I could be wrong. I've been out of the loop for a couple of weeks, so. Usually when they do something like that, that means there was a version 5.6, but we never saw it. That they made some changes, then went straight into other changes and stuff, so. Usually what happens when they do stuff like that. But yeah, you got to be careful when they upgrade engines like that, or they update version numbers, that you don't break your project, because they usually recommend you stick with the version that you start it with. And it kind of depends on how early on you are in your system. You know, it's not necessarily going to break everything, but it could break some stuff. So if you're early on, you can fix that kind of thing. But if you're not early on, like if you're in late stages, they say don't upgrade. Just keep it to the engine where you built it, because you don't want to have to track down bugs like that if you're in late development. I didn't really talk about too much about that texture size. So we've been struggling with that texture size. And I don't remember, guys, last time you saw it, if I had set it down to a single channel or not yet. I can't remember where we were 2 weeks ago. So originally, when that render target was set up, it was a 4-channel target, or 4-channel material. Red, green, blue, and alpha. But as I discussed last time, that's completely superfluous for our purposes. It's a mask, right? So really, what it was doing was it was writing the same number to to 3 of those channels, red, green, and blue. The alpha wasn't being used at all. So you were doing, for each pixel, you were using up 1 byte per channel, so that's 4 bytes per channel, or 4 bytes per pixel, which is such a waste, because you're really only using 1 piece of data, and you're just copying it 3 times, and then you've got a whole channel that you're not even using. So that's why I took it down to that's a waste of video memory. There's no reason for that. So I took it down to a single channel, just using the red. And then to draw the mask, I just cloned that 1 channel to 3, right? So I cloned it. I just took the value that was in the red channel, and I copied it over to a 3 byte float, or three floats. And use those for red, green, blue for the actual drawing of the mask. So that cut down our memory consumption by a factor of 4. So instead of using 4 bytes per channel, 4 bytes per pixel, keep saying that, I was only using 1 byte per pixel. And that was one of the things I did. I think I did that last week. You guys hadn't seen that yet. So we're using a 2048 by 2048 texture for the render target. That ends up being, if you calculate that out, I think it's about 4 megabytes of data for that texture. which is totally fine. That's totally fine for a material. If as a basis of comparison, the card that I just got has 32 gigabytes on it for texture data, and I'm using 4 megabytes. So 4 megabytes out of what's effectively 32,000 megabytes. Oh man, come on, rude. I'll tell you what. Let's get up here first. Looks like I already did. Okay, good. So yeah, that's a perfectly reasonable size to use for a texture. You could use a smaller one, like a 1024 by 1024. And the way I have it set up now, it shouldn't make any difference, although, as I said, we had that bug in there that I introduced. But it shouldn't make any difference, but the smaller your texture, the more artifacts you're going to get, just due to floating point errors. So 2048 by 2048 should be fine. That's totally fine. You could try to go higher, but if you go any higher than 2048, the engine's going to complain at you and say, hey, that's just way too big of a texture. If I even go one more pixel higher, like 2049 by 2049, it'll complain. And I think the reason it'll complain is that, hey, there we go, is that internally, at least this used to be the case. I don't actually know if it is still anymore, but it used to be the case. Video cards can only make textures in powers of 2. Or at least that used to be true. So 2048 is like 2 to the, I don't know, 7th, something like, or 2 to the 8th, something like that. If you go 2049 by 2049, internally it's not actually making a 2049 by 2049 texture, it's making a 4096 by 4096 texture. So it's like 4 times the size of the one that you just did. So at that point the engine goes, hey, that's a really big texture, man. Are you sure you want to do that? Because that's, you know, you're probably blowing out some of these video cards with that. Even on a single channel texture, it's going to give you that warning. I did it again. What is up with this? Why won't this work anymore? I had that working fine. Okay, I see how it is. So yeah, the engine isn't. Hey, stop it! Sorry, I had my fingers on the wrong keys. The engine isn't looking at total memory size really. So on a single channel texture, it's actually not all that bad to go higher. It could handle it. I think any video card can handle it, but the engine's really just looking at the side of the texture. It's not really looking at how many channels. So it's saying, I guess it's kind of assuming a 4-channel texture. It's saying that's way too big, man. You're being crazy there. Right, so let's see what's going on here. So yeah, you really shouldn't go any higher than 2048 by 2048. Now, honestly, guys, I don't know if that's still the case that they can only do powers of 2. I think that was kind of changing even when I was programming. It was getting changed so that they could do odd-sized textures. And maybe that's just standard now. I don't really know. I'm out of that loop. I don't know that anymore. It used to be the case that they could only do powers of 2. That may not be true anymore. Oh my god, I can't believe they're making me do this manually. Crazy. So yeah, I mean, about a 2048 to a 2048. That's fine. That's fine. That'll work just fine for us. We're only using up 4 megabytes. That's totally within reasonable parameters for a render target. I think we'll stick it there. I'll play around with non-square textures and see if I got that bug in there. I'm pretty sure I do. It would not work right if I did non-square texture. I think I've got it backwards. Based on that, what I did. So I'll have to flip that back around. Which is easy enough, that's fine. Not a problem. And then I gotta figure out why I can't switch textures all of a sudden, texture sizes. I set it up so that it should be able to without any problem, and for whatever reason it's not working. Had it working. I really did. I had it working fine, so clearly I introduced a bug in there somewhere. And the last thing to do is get the scaling working right. I think that's the end of that system. That system's done. We'll move on to something more interesting. Now, why is this still... What's happening? Ah, this is why you're being a pain in my butt. You're right in the way. What's the problem? Why are we being a problem? See, there you go. I think we'll get this to 50%, which we're almost there. We're at 45. I'm going to call it a day. I feel like we've done some good work. And what are we at? 2 hours 12. Yeah, man, we're in a good spot. We are in a good spot to finish this off today. So it'll take 2 days to get through this skate part. Fine. 2 sessions, I should say. That'll work just fine. I feel like we're probably getting pretty close to the point where I stopped playing this game. I did do the skate park before. I do remember it. Of the ones we have currently available, I don't know. We'll have to see if they, when we get to them, if they are familiar to me or not. Ooh, cool. Things like bouncing all over the place. Too close in. Doesn't like it. There you go. 46%. Nice. Right. That's not what I wanted. Oh no, another railing, not another railing. How are we doing? Problem with these railings is I can't really see very well most of the time where any gunk is. Let's see. Got pretty good. Let's try this side. Yeah, there we go. Some stuff over here. Oops. Need to do that. On top? Possibly on top. Where'd that ladder go? Way over there. How did you get over here? Come here. Come here with you. Sorry, where was I going? Here. Yep. There you go. Another railing done. Oh, there's another one over here. There's railings. So yeah, I mean, you know, guys, I don't really have much else to say about the games or the project. It's all, I think we've talked about it. You know, it's all fine. Everything's fine. There's nothing else to really say about it. Everything went according to plan. No, that's not true. I shouldn't say that. That's definitely not true. A couple of those games definitely did not go to plan today, but they were fine. The one that really concerns me is the Saboteur, like I said before. That's the one that's a little bit worried. If that guy does not come back and come back soon, I'm going to be very annoyed. There you go. Get that more cap prints across this wall. I think we're probably going to be in story mode in God of War for a little bit. Suddenly this isn't working anymore. I had this working so well. Nope, just isn't working. That's a pain in the butt. Let's get the top. I don't see us going back to free roam mode anytime soon. I think it's going to be a little bit. Because we've hit that point in the story where it's going to be all story based. Which is fine. Yeah, I mean, I think we've gone. We don't need to go backtracking anytime soon. The ones we've gone to, probably as far as they need to be. I'm sure I could pick up extra stuff that I missed. I know for sure there's a couple of things that I could get that I didn't. Why is this? Oh. We should clear these off first before we try to do the writing, because otherwise you don't know when you're going to finish. It's a pain to get that writing off, so let's do that automatically. See, there you go. See? Now I don't have to do it. Okay, yep, up here. Okay, I guess that's what's left, huh? There you go. %. All right, we need another 2%. Let's get this wall right here. I still haven't reached the point in God of War where I, got to where I was when I played the game originally on my own so many years ago. And honestly, guys, I think I've said this before as well. I don't remember a great deal of it. There was one particular point we came up to today that I was like, is that person dead? I wasn't sure. And you think I would know, but I don't remember. It's been, gosh, however many years. I played the game when it first came out. However many years ago that was. Probably 3-4 years ago, right? But I have played up to the point where we've gotten to. Somewhere in hell I was when I stopped playing that game. And I'm not sure if we're coming up to that point or not. I feel like we must be pretty soon. There we go. How is this wall still dirty? What are you talking about? understand. What is causing that? Nothing on this wall. What's you going on about? Can't even get up here. That's really bizarre. Missing something? I do not know why this is still saying it's dirty. There's nothing here. Tricorder must be broken. Dude, come on. Work with me here. There is nothing on that wall. You're stoned. What the hell are you talking about? The wall is completely clean. What? Oh. I'm going to go ahead and ignore that for right the moment. I don't know what the hell is going on about. There is nothing wrong with this wall. Gallery floor. We're at 49%. Okay, we're still out there. There you go, we're at 50%. Okay. Looking good. This is still going to drive me crazy. I don't understand what the hell its problem is. There is nothing wrong with this wall. You see that on the back? Serious with me? Hang on. That's ridiculous. Okay. Oh well, it's done now. Okay, guys. Well, very nice. We got half the skate park done, so I'm pretty pleased. It looks, you know, you can see bits where it's clean and bits where it's not. So I'm okay with that. Yeah, we still got some work to do, especially on the floor, but it's coming along. So we'll finish it up next time. For right now, I think we are going to be done here. So we will stop here and we will pick this back up in the next stream. So I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks a lot.